So how exactly do you get ready if a housing crash is about to happen in 2020? And whenever it comes to finances, usually one thing goes down and then something else goes down and then boom, before you know it, everything goes down unless the government steps in and helps out in some way. For example, in 2008 when the market crashed, and then later on, guess what happened also? The housing market also crashed after that. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to get ready for the housing crash that might happen in 2020. And my name is TommyBryson. I'm an accountant and I upload videos every single day on YouTube. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified. And on top of that, also do me a favor and destroy the like button gently though, okay? Don't just break your computer, just do it gently, and this way everyone will make it out of 2020 well, okay? Now, the first thing is this, guys. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you guys a real life example of a property I was looking at to buy and what happened exactly after everything started going on right now in the entire market with the entire illness that's going on around. Now, the very first thing we have to understand so we can be ready in case the real estate market does go down is basically what's going on right now and why do people think this is actually going to happen, okay? Now, the overall idea is this, guys. There's an illness going around that's causing unemployment because we have to stay at home, and you know what happens, okay? If people don't have a job, well, people don't have money and they can't pay their bills. And if you guys don't know this, interesting fact here is that around 64 million Americans, guess what? They're all homeowners. And around 63% of those people, guess what? They also have a mortgage of an average price of around $1,100. And for example, if you bought a property just to live in it and now you don't have a job, well, now you can't pay your mortgage. Now, if you bought a property for a rental unit and the people in there can't pay their rent because they're also unemployed, well, guess what? You can't also pay your mortgage either. And that's basically why a lot of people think that this might end up being a huge market crash in 2020. Now, the banks are not just staying around and be like, okay, we're just going to wait until this happens and then we're going to foreclose on you, because they don't really want to do that, okay? So what's going on is this. The banks are offering forbearance on basically all the accounts that have a mortgage. So now the idea with forbearance is very simple. If you can't pay a mortgage right now, well, the banks are going to let you pause it, and then after 90 days or 180 days, you can pay the full amount in full right then and there. Now, like I said before, guys, okay, the average person has a mortgage around $1,100. So if you paused it for 6 months, for example, well, 6 times 1,100 is around $6,600. So you tell me, if you didn't have $1,100, how the heck are you supposed to have $6,600 all of a sudden? The answer is we can all pretend, but it's not going to happen, okay? Most people won't have that amount of money, so what exactly is going to happen with that? People don't have the money, banks need the money, what's going to happen, okay? The answer is very simple. Either two things are going to happen. Either banks foreclose on them, or for example, they sell their properties for a discount to just cut their losses and call it a day. That's the entire idea. However, do I think that's going to happen? The answer is, to be honest with you, no. What I think is going to happen is that banks are going to get to the end of that forbearance period and they're going to say, for example, hey, if you can't pay the full amount, that's okay. We're just going to add it to your mortgage as a payment plan, and you'll go, for example, from $1,100 to $1,200 or $300 for 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, and then you'll be right back to normal, and then we just call it a day. And this way, we don't have to deal with foreclosures or you selling your home for a super big discount. Now, Tommy, does that mean that I won't get the opportunity to go out there and buy properties for a massive discount? Well, in reality, that's not the only problem that's actually going to pop up with the entire issue that's going on right now that can actually lead to a housing crash. The second issue is actually called supply and demand, and here's why, okay? Banks are basically tightening their entire lending rules, meaning, for example, JP Morgan, you can usually go over there and get a loan for a mortgage basically with, for example, a 660 credit score, a 10% down payment on a home, and then boom, you're good to go. You just bought the house of your dreams, and then boom, just get out, go live a happy life. However, the big issue and the big change is that now JP Morgan is saying, well, now we're going to require a 20% down payment, okay, on a home. And for example, most Americans out there don't even have $1,000 for an emergency, meaning that most people will not be able to afford a 20% down payment on a home, okay? And on top of that, no longer you can actually qualify with a 660 credit score. Now they're saying, hey, we're going to require a 700 plus credit score, which means now a lot of people are disqualified when it comes to actually qualifying for a mortgage. And on top of that, before closing a property 3 days prior, they're going to verify your income again. Now, why, Tommy? The answer is, well, if you lost your job, guess what happens? Now you can't qualify. And the most rare thing right now in America is basically to have a steady job, because basically everyone out there is unemployed. And the idea with this is, guys, basically if someone has a 20% down payment plus a 700 plus credit score and also has a steady job, usually it means they have their ish together and they will be able to pay off those loans no matter what, okay? That's the idea here. Now, what's going to happen here, and how does this open an opportunity for you guys, right? It means that basically the pool of people that can actually buy a house is much smaller, which means you will have a lot more houses for sale and less people actually qualifying to actually buy it. Now, whenever you have a product, for example, in this case, a house, and you have a lot more buyers than sellers, right? The price goes up. Right? Because you have a lot more people competing for that same house. However, when you have a house and not a lot of buyers, okay, it means the price usually goes down, because again, no one can qualify to actually get that house, at least not as much people out there. Now, people have two options, okay? They either sell their house to the lowest bidder, in this case, right? Or they hold on to it and hope it becomes a seller's market and switches from a buyer's market, okay? That's the entire idea here. And that's why this might actually cause a huge change when it comes to supply and demand, because of all of these restrictions right here. So Tommy, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And more importantly, is this a short thing, okay? Well, to be honest with you guys, what I think is this, okay? Everything that's going on right now with all the rules and regulations, oh my gosh, it's so much harder to get a house now. It's all more like artificial, okay? So if everything goes back to normal in 6 months or 12 months or 2 years, guess what happens? Banks go right back to normal and say like, hey, 660, 10% down payment, everything is fine, come get a house. Now, why would they do this? The answer is, the more people get a loan, the more money banks get. And that's the entire idea, and that's what they want. Because at the end of the day, all banks really want, let's be honest, is just more money. So the idea is that although right now, some people in the next 6 months or 10 months might say, for example, hey, I have a mortgage to pay, okay, and I can't actually pay it anymore. On top of that, I'm through with forbearance, and on top of that, guess what? I don't have a job anymore, and no one wants to buy my home, and this guy right here offered me, for example, 20% below market value, but guess what? I'm going to sell it, because basically, that's the only offer out there. Now, you might get lucky, but in reality, I think this is artificial, and it will pass, and when everything goes back to normal, prices will sustain, okay? So overall, what I'm saying here is this, guys. The housing crash is very unlikely to happen if everything goes back to normal. Now, Tommy, why do you say this? The answer is because the housing crash can only happen because of something that has nothing to do with housing. The problem is the virus, right? The problem isn't, for example, the banks doing shady loans. The problem isn't people foreclosing just for fun. The problem is actually everything that's going on right now and people being unemployed. But I strongly believe in the next 6 to 12 months, everything will be somewhat back to normal, which means that the housing market will be normal also. But before I go, guys, okay, here's exactly what I'm doing step by step to make sure I can still qualify for a home today, tomorrow, 3 months, or a year from now, okay? The idea is whenever you're investing into real estate, into stocks, into a business, what you want to do is basically the same, and that is remain adaptable to the situation, and this way you're not outpriced, or for example, you have a really bad credit score and then boom, now you don't qualify. The answer is you want to remain adaptable. So what I'm doing is this, guys, okay? My credit score right now is around 756. Last year in 2019, I had around a 636, meaning that right now I'm up over 120 points. And the reason is because I'm planning to buy a property. So right now, if you have a bad credit score, the answer is get your credit score together and get it up. If you don't know how to do it, I have a video linked down below on how exactly to get your credit score from 600 all the way up to 755, 756, what I have it right now at, okay? That's the idea. And on top of that, number two is that, for example, if I was saving up for a 10% down payment and now they're saying 20%, guess what I'm doing? I'm saving up for a 20% down payment. The idea is if everything goes back to normal, I have extra money to buy a property, maybe renovate or something like that to actually get the property value actually up. But if it stays the same, I still have money to actually buy that property. The idea is you never want to be outpriced out the market and not be able to participate in opportunities that actually pop up. On top of that, the last thing I'm doing is basically I'm making sure that my taxes and everything is in order and my income is in order. And this way, the entire process to qualify for a mortgage goes by a lot smoother. Now, how do you do this? The answer is get yourself a CPA, and this way everything goes a lot smoother and they do all the work for you and you're 100% prepared when you start applying for this mortgage. So for example, here's a real life example of a property I'm planning to buy right now, okay? The answer is I was looking at a property that costs around 400K. That's the asking price, but I was going to offer a lot lower based on the location, you know, and the entire idea is this, guys, okay? If I was going to put down 10%, which is like 40K, but now I have to put down 20%, which is around 80K, the answer is I'm saving up for that down payment, and this way I'm good to go, okay? And now, because of all my financials are in place and everything is good to go, the process for applying for a mortgage is a lot more easier. And on top of that, guys, a few weeks ago, to be honest with you, I was actually in the market for a condo, and the condo owner was like, you know what, I'm not negotiating, okay? The price is $130, Tommy. And I was like, all right, I'm not paying that, not at all. And guess what happened, guys, okay? Once everything started going on, he became a lot nicer, a lot more negotiable, because again, he knew for a fact that the amount of people that were going to buy his property went down. So now I was a very good buyer because basically I was one of the only people interested in his property now. Before he had a lot more people, but now he doesn't really have a lot more people because basically those people no longer really qualify to actually get that house anymore. So he was like, hey, I can actually knock down a few $1,000s, Tommy, and we can start talking business, okay? And the answer is, guess what? Now I'm not really interested in the condo. It came with a lot of like problems, like I couldn't really rent it out, stuff like that. So basically, now I'm interested in buying a home, a multifamily home where I can actually live in one and actually rent the other one and still make a profit. That's the idea. But overall, guys, the idea for this entire video here is what you want to do is remain adaptable to the situation and make sure your credit score is in order and make sure all your documents are in order, and this way you're good to go. No matter if it crashes or if it doesn't crash or if it nearly crashes, this way you can stay in the game and we can buy at any moment whatsoever, okay? That is the idea for this video. And as always, guys, comment down below and let me know, are you still planning to buy a property in 2020 or are you going to wait for 2021 or 2022? Comment down below, let me know. And as always, if you enjoyed this video right here, well, like this video. And on top of that, also click the subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video, which is literally every single day. And before I go, make sure to follow me on Instagram, TommyBryson. And on top of that, if you want to watch a full video on how I invest into a stock market, watch this video right here. And also with my face right here to also start doing it now. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And as always, peace.